In this video, we will take a look at yet another type of tallying the vote called instant runoff voting, or IRV for short. Now, you still use preference ballots for this, what we've already been showing you in the last few videos. But the idea is a little bit different because what we're trying to do is eliminate something called insincere voting, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. The way that it works, though, is the choice with the least first place votes is eliminated if you don't have a majority. All right. So whoever has the least, you're just looking at that top line, who are not always the top line, but the top in any column, right? Whoever has the least of those is eliminated from the election. And then any votes for that candidate are redistributed to the voter's next choice or the person next in line. This continues until some choice has a majority over 50%. What we're looking for is a majority. Okay, so what do I mean by insincere voting? Well, let me go back, for example, to an example we did earlier. This was the one about the 100 friends, right? There was 100 voters that were trying to choose a bowl game to go to, whether it was the Rose Bowl R, Hula Bowl H, Fiesta Bowl F, Orange Bowl O, or Sugar Bowl S. Now, what can happen if you don't use IRV is that people that want a certain type of bowl to win can be very insincere. Let me show you what I mean. You can see from this table that our plurality winner would have been the Rose Bowl with 49, right? But a very close second was the Hula Bowl with 48, right? Very close second. Now, what I mean by insincere is, notice that the people that voted for the Hula Bowl might have heard, like maybe they knew that the Rose Bowl was going to get a lot of votes. And what if they purposefully put the Rose Bowl down here in last place? Not because they thought it was last place, but they wanted to hedge their bets and make sure that the Rose Bowl would not win under certain circumstances. For example, you might remember in the previous video, I showed you that the Rose Bowl, although they are the plurality winner, the most first place votes, they are not the Condorcet winner or the Condorcet winner, which is H. The Hula Bowl ended up winning as a Condorcet winner. So maybe these voters and these voters purposefully put R to the bottom just because they knew so many people liked R. That would be what we call insincere voting. Now, when we capture a vote like this, when we have already counted the ballots, we don't know if people voted sincerely or insincerely. How do I know if people really ranked them in order from first to last as they truly felt? Like maybe some people weren't sincere about it. Maybe they thought Rose Bowl should have been higher, but just decided to vote against them. So IRV, this thing that we're going to talk about in this video, instant runoff voting, is a way to kind of eliminate or at least hinder anybody that's trying to do that kind of insincere voting, all right? Because your vote will go to the next person in line. So I'm going to go back to the math club election that I showed in an earlier video, and we're going to look at all of the voting methods at once, but I'm going to focus on IRV. Now, remember that our plurality is our number of whoever has the most first place votes. So we're going to look at our plurality winner here. Now, who has the most first place votes? If we just look at the top line, A has 14, C has 10 plus 1 in the last column, 11, D has 8, and B has 4. So A is our plurality winner. But we already looked at a Condorcet winner in the previous video, and I believe that it was actually C that won head-to-head versus any other candidate. So meaning that you're like, well, do we have two winners? No, we don't have two winners. What we do before the election is we decide which method are we using. If we use plurality, then A is the winner. If we decided to use Condorcet, then C is the winner, okay? So what we're going to look at now is a third way. We're going to look at our IRV, or instant runoff voting winner. Now, let me go over what it was again. It said you're looking for a majority. So we have to first, if we're going to find an IRV winner, we always have to first consider how many total votes are there. And remember, that's just done by adding up the numbers at the top line. So we have 14 plus 10 plus 8 plus 4 plus 1. Total votes would be 37. You want to find 50% of that, which is half of that, right? Always divide that by 2. In this case, it's going to be a decimal. It's going to be 18.5. And then our majority will be just the next number up from halfway. Right? We're going to round that 18.5 up to 19. So what we're going to look for is, does anybody have 19 first place votes? Well, if you look in this first place line, nobody has that. Nobody has 19 votes. All right. Sometimes I'll write it down. I'll be like, well, A has 14 at this point, and B has 4 votes, and C has, I'm going to write it as 10 plus 1. You may see why in just a second. All right. And then D has 8. All right. But nobody has a grand total of 19. So the instant runoff vote, the way that it says it in the rules, if you look above or go back on the video, you'll eliminate the person with the least votes. So who has the least amount of votes? Is it A, B, C, or D? Well, it's pretty easy to see that B only has 4 votes. B will be eliminated from the contest. So in essence, what we're thinking about is B is gone from this entire table. We say, thank you for playing B, but you've been eliminated. Now, when we do that, B's 4 votes go somewhere. So now we're going to focus on this column that says 4. If I have eliminated B from the top, who's next in line? See, that's where we get rid of insincere. If we're ranking them sincerely, we probably want to put our second favorite person next in line. So the next person in line is D. That means D picks up those 4 votes. So now I'm going to put +4 down in the D column. And then we always go back and say, now do we have a majority? Do we have a majority now? Does somebody have 19? Nope, that only bumped D up to 12. So once again, I have to eliminate the person with the least amount of votes. And if I look right now, A has 14, C has 11, and D has 12. And the lowest one would actually be C. C is going to be eliminated. Wow. So I'm going to say, okay, C is gone everywhere now. So I consider C to be absent from this picture, but I have to give out C's votes. C had a 10 and a 1, right? So the 10. Now, who's next in line available there? Well, C is gone and B is gone. So the next in line, right, is going to be D. So D is going to pick up those 10 votes. And C also had 1 vote over here, right? And who is next in line? That also goes to D. And now when we stop, we see we only have 2 candidates, so I know I'm going to have a majority. A has a total of 14, but D has a total of 8 plus 4 plus 10 plus 1, which I believe is 23. And that would be a majority, of course, because it's more than 19. And so my IRV winner is D. I'm going to put that on the right. Now look, this is kind of an interesting picture. Depending on which method we use, we get a different winner. And that's very important as we decide ahead of time how we're going to choose our winner. And that's how IRV works. And you can look at some more examples in this module.